coastline is breathtaking. And it's astonishing scenery like this that creates a yearning to live in a fabulous home by the sea.
There's a magnetic attraction that seems to draw us to the ocean. And once under its spell, it's almost impossible to resist.
Last summer, I had a unique opportunity to explore some of Britain's best seaside homes.
But that journey was just a drop in the ocean when it comes to the amazing properties and awe-inspiring locations that we have on these islands.
I'll discover how the elements helped shape the architecture of our seaside towns.
Look at this!
I'll design my own fantasy coastal houses.
I think it's pretty bonkers, but then so's that thing. Look at it.
And meet more people lucky enough to call our superb shoreline home.
Here we are, the wilds of rural Scotland.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Shall I get you a beer?
This week, I'm in God's own county, Yorkshire, exploring the coast of its historic North Riding. Here, ancient fishing villages shelter behind towering cliffs. Quirky doors lead to dazzling sea views. And converted chapels provide moments of revelation.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
Yorkshire's a place teeming with history, from ruined cliff-top abbeys to tiny fishermen's cottages hidden down secret alleys.
And it's this mixture of incredible coastal heritage and interesting houses that have brought me to this part of our shoreline.
Located on England's northeastern flank, the coast of North Yorkshire stretches for 36 miles, with more than half of it lying within national park boundaries.
And my exploration begins here, in the historic harbour town of Whitby.
It's here that Bram Stoker brought Count Dracula ashore, and where a seafaring hero would learn his trade. I'm heading into port on a scale replica of one of the most famous ships ever to set sail from Whitby, the Endeavour.
The Endeavour would enter legend as the ship that took Captain James Cook on his first epic voyage of discovery around the world.
Before his adventures took him to Australia and New Zealand, Cook served his seafaring apprenticeship here in the mid-18th century. Then the trade in alum and coal, followed by shipbuilding and whaling, would see the town prosper. And while merchants built elegant houses away from the grime of the harbour, the majority would have lived in less salubrious homes by the sea.
Now this is one of Whitby's famous yards, little complexes of workers' cottages tucked in the back of the street. And it looks very cute today, and it is. But 200 years ago, it would have been anything but. There would have been at least a dozen people in each of these houses. No sanitation. The thick, acrid smoke from coal fire would have hung heavy in the air. And underlying everything would have been the smell of rendering blubber.
But if the whalers and trawlermen of Blackburn's yard ever fancied a bird's eye view of the office on their day off, then they didn't have to wander too far.
Now, the climb up these steps certainly takes your breath away. But then, so does the view when you get here. Look at that. Isn't that magnificent?
The first property I'm visiting shares a similar fabulous outlook, but it's a world away from the tiny dwellings in the yards. I'm heading 5 miles south of Whitby into the North York Moors National Park, to the village of Filingthorpe.
Building here in the National Park is strictly controlled to protect and enhance this beautiful landscape. But if you do want to design something, it's got to be pretty special, and it's got to fit in and complement its surroundings. And just up ahead of me, behind those trees, tucked into the hillside, is just such a house.
Surrounded by woods high above the village, this home of cedar and zinc appears to be more Nordic than North York Moors. And it's this property's elevated position that delivers amazing views beyond the dense green foliage. The people lucky enough to live here are Jackie and John Golland.
I imagine that connection to the sea was the appeal of this side.
Well, it was all we saw. All we did was stand and look, and that was it. And that's all we do when we're here. We sit on the chairs here, and we can spend hours just looking out there.
Watching boats going past.
Watching boats.
Weather coming in and out.
See them coming and going, and at night as well. It's all twinkling lights.
Finance manager Jackie and John, a retired draftsman, had previously lived in a quaint cottage. But craving more space, they saw an opportunity to replace a rundown bungalow and build from scratch.
This is a national park, isn't it? And so planning is always challenging. How was that process?
Well, it was very easy, really. I mean, the parks were very receptive to an eco house.
Right, so is that part of your strategy, was let's make this super low energy?
Yeah,
and
they were very keen, and they were very good about it, very helpful.
This striking 3-bedroom home is packed full of energy-saving features. There are 18 solar panels on the split-level roof to generate electricity, and a rainwater harvesting system that helps feed the pond and flush the loos. Full-height windows flood light into a kitchen that's an amalgam of high-end German design with a pinch of traditional British farmhouse.
Well, should we have a look around the house?
Sure.
Just around the corner, there's a bright and luxurious lounge.
This is lovely, isn't it? It just gets better. It's beautiful. I love the way the ceiling disappears up to what must be roof lights hidden away up there. It just gives it such a wonderful sense of space.
A lot of light and space.
Yeah.
It's one of the criteria that we asked the architect to provide.
And it's very modern. I mean, these are beautiful precast concrete slab tiles.
Very large and very heavy.
And smooth.
And the tilers hated them by the time they got to the end of the house.
The tradesmen may have disliked them, but they create a flowing connection right through this fabulous home. From the light-filled lounge through to the cosy snug at the far end, the ground floor is one continuous open space.
Despite being very contemporary, there's a real sense of homeliness. You know, it feels very warm, very cosy. It's lovely, isn't it?
Oh, it is, right? It's lovely. We enjoy it.
Well, should we go look upstairs?
Yes.
The open tread staircase of steel and oak is beautifully crafted.
This is a very nice balustrade.
And the quality of the finish is evident throughout this home, especially in the Scandi-inspired bathroom. This stripped-back ensuite is a mere curtain raiser to their master bedroom and what lies beyond.
Come on, what's the view like?
Try this.
Oh, I say, this is a very... That's nice. Wow. Now, normally I think these are a bit of overkill, but they're brilliant. That is brilliant, to lie in bed and just open the window and look at that view.
That's if Border Terrier Finn is prepared to roll over. Reinforcing the home's eco-credentials, the couple are striving for self-sufficiency in a sheltered organic back garden allotment, created from French oak and rusted metal sheets. Out front, the granite patio's protruding fingers of varying lengths point towards the sea. All these elements have allowed Jackie and John to create a perfect hilltop retreat. The whole place makes you just want to kick back and relax.
I bet every time you come up that driveway, this house gives you a smile.
And you just see it all in front of you, and then that's it, you're home. Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine living in a house like this, in a location like this. It must slightly feel like you're always on holiday.
Yeah, it does. To the extent that now we spend all our time here because we don't particularly want to go away, and when we do go away, we think, oh, we're missing home already, you know.
I can understand why. I'm going to miss here when I leave.
I love sustainable architecture, especially in locations as wonderful as this. But there's more to Yorkshire's coast than new properties that sit naturally within the national park. On the next leg of my journey, I find a 400-year-old cottage that's totally enchanting.
There is something fairy tale
fairy tale
about
yes.
it.
It's a cute little thing.
It is. It's
Cute.
And I explore the nooks and crannies of Staithes to understand the idiosyncratic architecture of these classic fishing villages.
They're incredibly tall, almost like a whole series of towers that tumbles down in the most eccentric, unusual way.
I'm in North Yorkshire, travelling along its fabulous coast and visiting some intriguing homes. Follow the Golden Beach north from Whitby and you'll eventually reach the aptly named village of Sands End. This section of Yorkshire's shoreline is renowned for prehistoric fossils discovered in the shale and mudstone cliffs. So much so, it's been nicknamed the Dinosaur Coast.
The next house I'm off to was home to a famous fossil hunter who in the 1800s scoured these cliffs and beaches. However, the present owners of the house are more likely to be down here walking their dogs.
Giving Freddie and Sadie their daily constitutional across the sands are Gillian and Charles.
So how did you end up here?
When I was a youngster, I used to come here with my parents for holidays, so I've always liked this particular piece of the coastline.
Good place to walk the dogs.
And an
Absolutely.
excellent place to walk these two.
We were here on a day out and the tide was in, we couldn't come onto the beach, so we thought we'd explore. And then we found the house just by chance, and it was love at first sight.
So because the tide was in,
It's the only reason we
you
found the
ended
property.
up finding this house. Well, thank you, Tide. That's very good. Well, should we go up and have a look at the house?
Yeah, that
Yes,
would be
that's
Right
a
then,
good
come on then.
idea.
Come on.
Much less than a country mile from the sea is the home Gillian and Charles discovered on that fortuitous stroll. A chocolate box, hodgepodge sandstone cottage that dates back more than 400 years. Set within an acre of exquisitely landscaped gardens.
Oh, this is lovely. I can see just through there, the sea.
Yes.
But you've got this beautiful rolling countryside. You've got the best of both worlds, haven't you?
We have indeed.
And the garden's beautiful.
The minute we walked through that gate, the garden sold it to us.
We thought, you know, this is for us. This is for us.
Sheltered from the strong and corrosive sea breezes, there's digitalis and iris, and an abundance of lupin and laburnum. All of which led to this home being lauded internationally by Style Bible, American Vogue.
So this is a pretty small house with a big pedigree.
Yes. One of my girlfriends came with me to view it, and she said, "Fabulous garden, where's the house?"
But it does look a little bit like a doll's house, doesn't it, that front bit? It's incredibly small.
One or two of my friends have suggested it looks very much like a Hansel and Gretel house.
Yeah.
Because of its quaintness in terms of shape.
There is
design.
something fairy tale
fairy tale
about
yes,
it, isn't there? Very much
yes.
so.
There's certainly an enchanting quality about this property.
Should we go and have a look inside?
Yes, sure.
Absolutely.
Charles and Gillian bought the aptly named Little Farm 3 years ago and completely refurbished it, installing a farmhouse kitchen and overhauling the dated interior design.
The first task was to introduce like a cool, coastal type. You know, not too coastal because obviously it's a English country cottage, isn't it?
So just sort of stripped it back, nice whites, creams, blues.
Got rid of the dark beams.
So these was all dark, was it originally?
Yeah.
That would have really made this feel low, wouldn't
Very
it?
depressive.
Yeah.
Upstairs is equally as illuminating, where white painted timbers and shades of soft cream lift any gloom from the compact rooms.
This is a lovely bright room again, isn't it? You know, for a really old building, really old house, it's got a lot of light.
Yeah. Lovely with the 2 windows.
And the views into the garden. It really makes the most of that lovely garden.
It does.
Surrounded by trees, and you could almost be living in woodland on this side of it.
You do, you just see trees. All through there, it's just trees.
One last thing I'd like to show you, Charlie, is this. And it's a coffin drop.
So this is a coffin drop here. I've heard about these.
Yeah, and it's right below the bed upstairs.
Is it?
Yeah.
Traditionally, the deceased would have been laid out in an open coffin. However, the steep, narrow staircase would have made a dignified exit impossible.
Because that was closed in originally, you wouldn't have been able to get a coffin round the stairs.
Absolutely right.
So they'd pop open this,
That's right.
lower you through,
Lower the through and
send you off
cart
to the
you away.
church.
That's right.
So when I end my days, I'm going to be pushed through there
In the box.
in the box.
So that's your way out.
That's my way out.
Got it all
yeah.
planned.
I have already, and I can't think of a better place to end my days.
No, I can understand why. It is lovely. It's really lovely.
For me, it's the country garden that's to die for at this home. And what better way to enjoy it on a sunny summer afternoon than with an English cream tea?
Wow, look at that.
Afternoon tea.
This is beautiful.
English cream tea.
I'm just sitting here trying to work out which one I'm going to eat.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
I could definitely while away an hour or two in this delightful garden.
Is it good?
That's good. Very good. You know, as a home, I can see why you want to be here. It's really lovely.
It is, and especially when the sun shines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very special.
From tranquil gardens to towering cliffs, Yorkshire's coast has some of the highest in England. And it's not just colonies of seabirds that cling to these vertiginous rocks. Homes in picture postcard fishing villages do too. And it's to one of these that I'm heading next.
Just down here is Staithes. Now, this used to be one of the busiest fishing ports on the whole of the East Coast. And it is a fascinating town. You can see how it's developed. They obviously started building down here near the harbour on the flat land. And over the years, as the towns got bigger, they started to crawl up these cliffs, clinging precariously to this gorge here that's been cut out by the beck. And they're incredibly tall, almost like a whole series of towers. And the result is this lovely roofscape that tumbles down in the most eccentric, unusual way. It's really rather wonderful.
Staithes was home to a young Captain Cook, and in its heyday, 300 men would have fished from here. Their homes were built on tiny individual plots, maximising the space by building up rather than out. A net cast away from the boats moored on the tidal beck is Dunsley. A tall and thin one-bed cottage owned by Judy and Duncan Armstrong.
So how did you guys end up here in Staithes?
Well, we first found it by sea kayak, actually. We were paddling down the coast, up the coast from Sand's End, and kept going because, you know, it was a beautiful day, cliffs were nice, felt good. Came around the corner and suddenly saw this little colourful village creeping up the beck and under the cliffs. And we thought, wow.
And all the sun was sort of shining off it because of all the white houses and different colours, and it just was sort of sparkling there in the cliffs.
Staithes' huge charm led them to their petite property. Built in the 19th century, it is just a tiny 42 metres squared in size.
Let's go and have a look at the light and the space in this TARDIS-like house.
Straight off the yard is the teeny 4 metre square kitchen diner. But thanks to whitewood panelling and large windows, it doesn't feel pokey.
It is bright, isn't it? For a little thing tucked away.
Yeah, and it doesn't get direct sun either, which is even more strange.
I suppose it's just the fact you've got these sash windows makes all the difference.
Dunsley was once part of a bigger dwelling that was subdivided. Before the split, this slender stair would have been the home's main thoroughfare.
Oh, I love this staircase. It's fantastic. It's like everything's just on a micro scale, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you imagine how chaotic this would have been when this is all one house and this is the only staircase with kids and people charging up and down?
The original pine stair winds its way up to the cottage's only bedroom, which, thanks to those huge sash windows, feels much more cavernous than it really is.
Oh, what a lovely room. Again, the quality of light is fantastic. And the higher you get up, you start seeing a little bit over the other houses, and you start getting a little bit of a view, don't you?
Absolutely, and sunset over Calburn Nab, which is that big piece of land that goes out there, it's just magic.
I bet it is. Right, so it's living room upstairs. Yep.
It's in the upper story snug that this home's history is uncovered.
This is wonderful, isn't it? This ceiling. It's quite an unusual ceiling, isn't it?
Well, this was all plasterboarded up.
Really?
Yeah. So I got the crowbar out and started ripping it all down.
Pulling at that thread.
Yeah.
Slowly.
And so the jumper unravelled.
So the jumper unravelled.
Pulling that thread revealed a delightful link to Staithes' past as a bustling port.
Well, we're pretty sure from the age of the house and how they use bits of old boats that that's a mast, or has been a mast at one stage.
If you think about when Captain Cook was in the village, which was in the mid-18th century, it's most likely really to be an 18th century beam.
The weathered mast runs through the entire top floor, and its presence further enriches Dunsley's link to the sea and to this atmospheric harbour village.
It's an extraordinary place that when you come down that hill, because there's been so little modern development and there's so much sort of modern life stuff here, you really feel like you're stepping back in time.
Absolutely, and particularly when you arrive in winter and the cobbles are all slick with mist and it feels incredibly Dickensian. And you really could be back in the days of Captain Cook. It's absolutely magical.
To me, these stretched homes are like stunted skyscrapers, and Staithes a mini Manhattan. Later, my exploration of the village leads me to a property here that seemingly got oceans of space.
That is is majestic.
Feels like it's a ship is about to sail out to sea and we're sort of on the bridge sailing off. It's lovely.
And a renovated artist's residence with a twist.
You can have your daytime wall here and then just give it a spin round. And then you've got your party time wall.
I've travelled to the beautiful Jurassic coastline of North Yorkshire to visit some of its most interesting homes by the sea. I'm following in the footsteps of Captain Cook, wandering the alleys and ginnels of historic Staithes, once one of the busiest ports on the east coast. From the tall and tight fisherman's cottage, the next home that sparked my interest is a divine contrast to most in the village.
Now this lovely building is Bethel Chapel. It's one of the best known buildings in the village. You can see it's got a beautiful, simple, stripped facade with these classical arches and this lovely stonework with the herringbone markings in the sandstone. But this is no longer a place of worship, it's a home.
The people who live here are Patrick and Angel Scott.
Hello, Patrick.
Hi, Charlie. Nice to meet you.
How are you? Hello, Angel.
Hello.
How are you? This is a very interesting looking building. Oh, look at this. Look at this. That's lovely. I didn't expect to see this.
It's a revelation. I was anticipating a much more brutal conversion. Instead, Angel and Patrick's home really retains the character of the chapel.
So this is all original panelling here?
Yeah.
I think it would have all been varnished wood.
Yes, it
in
wouldn't have
the
been
day.
painted white,
Yeah.
it would have been varnished wood.
I really like the fact that it still retains so much of the original feeling of a chapel.
That's what I felt the first time I came to view it. And I stood here and took one look and thought, yeah, its integrity as a chapel is still here. It is, and I just loved it.
Ecclesiastic fixtures and fittings have also been given new roles. Authentic pews have become places to remove shoes, while the immense pulpit is part of Angel and Patrick's fitted kitchen. This cavernous open-plan living space would have felt anything but when this was an active place of worship.
They probably had a congregation of well over 200.
In here?
Yep.
Every Sunday?
Yeah. Well, apparently the aisle was very narrow here to get lots of pews in, and there's stories of how if brides came down the aisle to the pulpit and had very wide frocks, they had to come down sideways because there wasn't enough room for them to sail in their majesty.
Sounds like
down
going through the ginnels down in town, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And we also discovered one time when some woman came through the door and she stopped and she said, last time I were here, that were a coffin.
Following the chapel's conversion in 2006, the only laying to rest now is in the cosy sitting room.
Should we go look around?
Yes, of course.
Upstairs, where the organ player once hammered out the hymns, has become the TV room.
Oh, look at that. That little curved walkway around the edge is beautiful.
There would have been more tiered seating up here. Now there are 2 ensuite bedrooms tucked behind these curves.
That is majestic. It's beautiful.
It's lovely at night because with the lights in the slits in the window there, when you switch the lights off and switch them on, it feels like it's a ship is about to sail out to sea and that's the prow and we're sort of on the bridge sailing off. It's lovely.
For part-time education consultant Patrick and retired teacher Angel, Bethel Chapel and Staithes are the perfect sanctuary from the hustle and bustle of modern life.
I think what I really love about this place is that you really feel like you're in a village, almost like a little town. It is very urban. but then you just drop down here, you're by the beck, sea's just there. Very special.
I think for me it's that sense of connecting with nature and the natural rhythms of life, and the fact that you can't impose yourself on it, you have to go with it. You know, everybody talks about Staithes time, so when you come here everything is done on a different time scale, it's much more relaxed, and it's
So if you want anything done in a hurry, what people say is, they look at you with an expression of puzzlement on their face and say, this is Staithes.
I think I could get used to Staithes time, watching the world float by in this idyllic little village. And if you fancy your own perfect place to relax on the Yorkshire coast, then there's plenty of properties to choose from. Overlooking the beach in Sands End is the old post office. But the name's the only thing about this home that's dated. It's been given a first-class conversion and is now a modern 3-bedroom home that's almost right on the seawall. It's priced at £500,000, stamp duty not included. Houses don't come much louder than Hornblower Cottage, a former foghorn station near Whitby. The 3-bedroom house with detached holiday cottages sits in a prominent position on the cliffs. Sadly, the 121 decibel horns have been decommissioned, but at £525,000 the price is worth shouting from the cliff tops. And finally, there's a chance to own a piece of New England in North Yorkshire. This 2-bed, timber-clad beach house has breathtaking views out over Filey Bay. Priced at just under 400 grand, this US-inspired home gives you real bang for your buck. Head a few miles north of Filey and you're greeted by another arcing sweep of sand and cliff, beautiful Caton Bay. And it's here that artist Shirley Vovell finds the materials and inspiration that help shape her work.
Well, I'm looking for treasure on the beach, whatever I can lay my hands on. There's a little tiny bit. It really excites me when I get a piece of wood that it's obviously had a previous life. Like I get lots of door wedges that have obviously been used on fishing boats. Oh wow, look at this piece, this is great. These are really good finds where you get the paint on there. It's got a good story to tell, that piece of wood. A real treasure.
Shirley's studio is part of her home, located a short stroll from the bay. Along a leafy drive and set in 3 acres is a Victorian mansion that she's given a marvellous architectural makeover. This unusual and gigantic pivoting cedar door, the flotsam and jetsam Shirley finds is transformed into works of art. With its 20-foot-high windows and towering concrete chimney, this room's a brand new side extension Shirley created when she completely renovated the home in 2005.
Got so much light and the full length windows. It's just wonderful. I absolutely love it. You couldn't get better really for a studio space.
As well as a workshop, this is also the perfect gallery to showcase her creations.
We retained the external walls because they just have so much interesting texture on them, and that for me is just stunning really because of the lovely weathered quality in that wall and also revealing a history of the house.
Built around 1850 for a Leeds-based merchant, the double-fronted home retains its character, albeit with contemporary updates. The bays have been squared off and balconies created for 2 of the home's 6 large bedrooms. Downstairs, Shirley's removed walls and ceilings to create bigger, brighter, more practical living spaces, with the odd twist, such as in the lounge.
You can have your daytime wall here, and then just give it a spin round. And then you've got your party time wall.
There's more entertaining space in what used to be the garage. The structure was totally rebuilt to house a sleek Belgian kitchen and an additional dining room. And what used to be the hen house is now a minimalist indoor garden of tropical plants. For Shirley, though, it's this magnificent property's location that makes it really special.
I feel very lucky to live by the sea. Just the smell and the sound of it, I've always loved the sea. It definitely feels like there's more room, you know, space to get out there and just enjoy.
On the final part of my Yorkshire journey, I let my own creative juices flow, designing a fantasy home in an unbelievable location.
It's totally bonkers and impractical, but I don't care.
And I meet the man living life on the very edge in Robin Hood's Bay.
You come here to live by the seaside, you've got to have a seaside view.
Yeah, I think you've kind of aced that element. That is mind-blowing.
I'm on the last leg of my tour along the North Yorkshire coast. So far, I've visited a variety of homes, from modern eco-houses to traditional country cottages. Now I'm going to let my imagination run wild and design a fantasy home of my own on this fabulous stretch of coast.
We've got to Filey Brig, and I've come here because, well, it's the most epic bay you can find for a long way. This is Flamborough Head. You can see the lighthouse right on the end. This is Filey, and it's running round to Filey Brig.
Fishermen with rod and line can be found on the brig, but it's the traditional boats of their seafaring colleagues that's provided the inspiration for my ambitious property.
So what I'm thinking, and it's totally bonkers and impractical, but I don't care, is to build a sort of stone boat shape up out of that rock finger that juts into the sea.
My boat-like structure would sit proudly on the brig. The high stone bow would face into the oncoming waves from the north, while on the calmer bay side, a door would lead out onto a sheltered deck.
Within that would be a shape a little bit like the cobble kind of cover, which would be sort of steel and glass and would come around the back. I mean, this is a totally impractical house, but, you know, a fantasy.
A colourful canopy over the deck would echo the traditional canvas of the beautiful cobbles. The key space would be the elevated master bedroom on the bridge of this make-believe houseboat.
When those storms are piling in the middle of winter, you could be up there in bed, just watch them come crashing over the top of the bedroom. It would be a real experience.
Sadly, my dream home will be forever that, and I'll simply have to imagine what it could be like to sit through one of those big North Sea storms. However, the final home on my Yorkshire itinerary has been subject to this kind of battering for centuries. I'm winding my way along the cobbled streets of picturesque Robin Hood's Bay to a remarkable property that's so close to the shore, it's actually part of the sea wall. This is the beautiful beach home. And as well as its dramatic position, there's a theatrical, rather odd side to this house too. It's owned by Graham Kemp.
Hello, Graham.
Oh, Charlie, come on.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Look at this. Look at that view. That is very unusual, that you're in a house and you look out the window and you see nothing but sea.
Yeah, sometimes the waves hit in the glass.
Is it?
Yeah. It hits the bottom windows and then comes up and splashes off the top ones, and sometimes you can feel a little dull thud as the wave hits the house.
You wake up in the morning and get the just...
You can't feel the house moving, but...
No, okay. Well, it's been... How long's it been here?
350 years.
Right, they've probably got something right.
I don't think it's going to go too far.
No.
If it's not the lapping waves disturbing Graham's sleep, it's the chatter of tourists walking by on the coastal path.
I bet this is in the back of a million holiday snaps.
It must be. It must be the most photographed house on the whole of the Yorkshire coast.
Because it sits right out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you start having your lunch out there and there's people snapping you and... How you know, Shane?
Originally from Leeds, retired TV presentation director Graham first came here on childhood day trips. And later in life, when he was searching for the perfect seaside holiday home, Beach Home ticked all the boxes.
What was your first impression of it? What condition was it in?
Well, it looked quite good superficially, and the lady who sold me it said, "What are you going to do to it?" And I said, "Well, nothing, because it was going to be my holiday home." And then as I looked around, I thought, "Oh no, I've got to put my stamp on this," and it's taken me 2.5 years, and here we are now.
Graham has definitely done that. From antique clocks to oriental ornaments. It's a unique interior style with unusual pieces spread right around the 4-storey property, including the ornate dining room on the lower ground floor.
So what happened down here?
This was the original joiner's workshop where he made the boats, but he also made coffins because he was a joiner. And
right, I suppose there's a sort of, they're both vessels.
Yes.
So they would have had the boats and the coffins in here.
Yeah.
And then when they were ready, they dragged them out and launched them, which I suppose explains why it's so close to the sea, because they didn't build houses this close to the sea in the past. They didn't want to be this close to the sea.
No. And if they came back from sea, they'd been battered by the waves for I don't know how many weeks, and all they wanted was peace and tranquility of home. So most of the cottages and houses here haven't got a sea view at all.
Which I suppose is so alien to us, but if that's your living, you just get away
we just
from
want to see the sea.
This is a residence where you simply can't escape the sea. Whether it's from the bed in the attic master suite, or from the cockeyed windows in the corridors. The 2 guest bedrooms contain more eclectic furnishings, but hidden amongst the antiques are some high-tech touches.
This mirror here kind of looks
Well, it's
suspiciously...
not actually a mirror, it's a television. There we go.
And there we go. Very good choice of programme.
You look familiar.
Even the ensuite is flush with gadgets.
I really like this loo with a view. I suppose you've got to be something of a confident person to use it, though.
Oh, not at all. Press this and it gives you privacy.
Look at that. That's brilliant.
Smart glass on a centuries-old window. That's a first for me. But it typifies the quirky, unusual, and absolutely fascinating nature of this property.
I suppose it's really this location that makes this house so unique, isn't it?
It's fantastic for parties, barbecues, never short of any friends.
I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you're not. This is wonderful, isn't it?
Beautiful. It doesn't get much better, does it?
And it's amazingly sheltered, considering that's the North Sea.
It's south facing over there.
like 2 balconies. It's almost greedy.
Compared to the traditional fishermen's cottages, Graham's home is the complete opposite, as it really embraces and revels in its seafront location.
Given the density and the tightness of all those housing, I mean, you've got that as your counterpoint, haven't you?
Yeah.
Just space.
If you're coming to live by the seaside, you've got to have a seaside view.
Yeah, I think you've probably kind of aced that element of living by the sea.
That's my expectation.
That is mind-blowing.
Yorkshire has certainly surpassed my expectations too. And while new homes blend into this gorgeous scenery, what stood out for me is how the county's rich history is encapsulated in its architecture. This part of Britain is so unique. The unspoilt towns and villages are like a series of jewels, pearls along this wonderful coastline. And personally, as an Australian, to have walked in the footsteps of Captain James Cook and to know that the Endeavour, the boat that he discovered so much on, was built just down there, well, that's pretty special. Next time, I'm in the Channel Islands, where magnificent headlands are crowned with modern masterpieces. Old farm buildings are transformed into fabulous family homes, and historic houses serve up fantastic experiences.
There's bowls set into the wall.